We have been discussing Heter HaMechira, the selling of land or Israel, to avoid certain issues of Shmita. And one of the discussions, and this was the point that most concerned Rabbi Yoshua Leib Diskin, was the prohibition of lo Techanem, not to give settlement to not all non-Jews, maybe only some non-Jews, we'll see, in Eretz Israel. So it comes from Perek Zayin in Devarim. Ki yaviyecha Hashem Elokecha el haaretz asher ata vad shama l'rishta. When the Lord your God brings you to the land to inherit it, v'neshal goyim rabim, you will dispose of many non-Jews, mipenecha, from before you, hachiti, the Hittite, the Girgashi, the Girgashite, the Hemori, the Amorite, the Hakanani, the Haprizi, the Hachivi, HaYubusi, all of these nations. Shivas Goyim Rabim, 7 great nations, V'atzumim Mimeka, and more powerful than you. 7 nations greater and more powerful than you. Unsanam Hashem Elokecha lefanecha, v'hi sa'am, and the Lord your God will put them before you, and you will strike them. Hacharem tachrimem osam, you will surely destroy them. Lo tichros lambris, you will not make a covenant with them. V'lo techanem, and you will not give them chen, and we'll see what this means. V'lo tischaten bam, you will not intermarry with them. Bitcha lo titen livno, your daughter you will not give to his son. Uvito lo tikach livnecha, and his son you will not take to your daughter. Ki asirat bincha me'achra'e, because they will turn your son from behind me, from worshiping God. Ve'avdu Elohim acharim, and they will serve other gods. V'hara af Hashem bechem, and the anger of God will burn against you. V'shmidcha maher, and he will quickly destroy you. Ki im ko tasu lahem, if this is what you will do to them, mizbachotam titotzun, you will shatter their altars. Umetzevatam tishaberon, and their pillars you will break. Ve'ashereshem tigadeun, and you will chop down the trees that they worship. And Asherah is a tree that was viewed as an idol. Upisilehem tisrifun be'esh, and their idols you will burn with fire. Ki am kadosh ata Hashem lakecha, because you are a holy nation to the Lord your God. B'char b'Hashem Elokecha lios lo la'am segula mikol ha'amim asher al pnei hadama. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a special nation from all the people that are on the face of the earth. Lo merubichem mikol ha'amim, you are not greater in number than the other nations. Chashak Hashem bechem, God has desired you. V'yivchar bechem, and he has chosen you. Ki atem hame'at mikol amim, because you are the smallest of all nations. Ki me'ahavas Hashem eschem, because of God's love of you. U'mishamro es hashavua asher nishba la'avosechem, and he has kept the oath that he has sworn to your forefathers. Hotzi Hashem eschem bi'ad chazakah, the Lord your God has taken you out with a strong hand. V'yiftecha mibeis abadim, he has redeemed you from the house of slavery. Miad Paro melech Mitzrayim, from the hand of Paro, the king of Egypt. So the root, or which root is it, of Techanem, does it mean to give grace, or does it mean to give an encampment? The Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Mishnah Daf Yud Tesam Beis, going to Chaf Amud Aleph, where the Gemara discusses it. The Mishnah says, "Ve'ein osim tachshitin le'avodas kochavim." You do not make jewelry, adornments for an idol. Katlaos v'nizamos v'tabaos, earrings, rings, and necklaces. Rabbi Eliezer says, "B'schar mutter." If you're paid for it, then it's mutter. And this is very difficult to understand because in general, anything related to Avodah Zarah has an absolute prohibition, Yahareg Val Yav, where one should be killed rather than transgressing it. Why is here Rabbi Eliezer saying, if they pay you to do it, so then it's mutter? It doesn't make any sense at all. Rav Herzog Zitzal was once asked this question, and he said there's another girsa that's much better, that is ovedes kochavim, for an idolatrous woman, you're not supposed to make adornments. You're not supposed to make her beautiful. But if you're paid to do it, at that point it's mutter. Ein mochrim lehem b'mechubar lakarka. You don't sell them anything that is attached to the ground. Ava mocher lehem mishiyakat zeitz. But you can sell it to them once it's been detached. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, mocher hu almanas likot. So you can sell it on condition that he cut it down. Gemara. Mana hanimili. Where were these words said? Or for where did these words come? Amar Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Chanina d'Amar Kra. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina says it's a pasuk. Lo techanem. You will not give them chain, favor. Lo titen lehem chanaya bekarka. So he says what this means is you're not allowed to give them any place to rest in the land of Israel. This is why the second part of the Mishnah, it says you're not allowed to sell them anything attached to the ground because you're selling them the ground with it. But once it's detached, you can sell it. Or you can sell it on condition that it be detached, meaning that in which case you're specifying that even though you're selling the tree, you're only selling the tree and not the land with it, so he has to remove his tree. Ha lo techanem mi boile, but it says don't be gracious to them. Dahachi ka'amar rachmana. This is what the pasuk said. Lo titen lehem chain. Don't give them any grace. Im ken. Lamakra lo techunem. So the pasuk should have said lo techunem. Don't give them grace. My lo techanem. So why does it say lo techanem in an unclear way? Shma mina tarte. It's telling you that we in fact have to learn both of these things from him. You're not supposed to make an idolatrous person beautiful, and you cannot allow idolaters to live in the land of Israel, or maybe only the 7 nations, or maybe all non-Jews. Rashi explains as follows: Hachi garsinan im ken lichtov lo techunem. If the girsa, the correct girsa, which our Gemara is almost always corrected the way the Rashi says is the correct girsa, it should have written lo techunem. B'kriya so malay, it should be a full reading. Demashma lashon chanina, which would mean grace, supplication. V'huchein, and this is a physical beauty. My lo techanem. So Rashi says, what does it mean when it says lo techanem? Chaser, meaning missing the middle vav. Kari be lo techanem lashon chanayat karka. This can also be read in terms of a place to dwell in the land. Tosos has a problem. Tosos, I should say, Vikasha, Dahai lo techanem b'sheva umos davka. So Tosos says, according to what you've said previously, this is a difficulty because when you read the Psukim, it seems to only refer to these 7 nations, the 7 nations that were there when you entered the land. You might think they know something about land. You might follow what they do. So you're not allowed to have them occupy the land and so on. No. It might refer to others, but Tos was saying it could be it's only these nations. The Rosh quotes the Gemara. This is only the prohibition of selling land to non-Jews only applies in Eretz Yisrael. Outside of Eretz Yisrael, of course, it's permitted. The Ramban wrote that this applies even to land outside of the land of Israel, but that does not appear to be correct. Now, there is a prohibition, however you view it, that is from the Torah of not giving at least some non-Jews land in Eretz Yisrael. And there is only, that is a Torah prohibition. And there's only a rabbinic prohibition of Shmita, the sabbatical year in our time. So are we making our situation worse by violating a Torah prohibition in order to be able to prevent a violation of a rabbinic prohibition. This is the subject of the next year. Everyone should have a wonderful day.